The moment a narcissist realizes you truly don't care anymore, that's when they become the most dangerous. Because when they can't control your heart, they will try to control your reputation, your peace, or your sanity. If this is resonating, like this video and share it with someone who needs clarity right now. Awareness is armor. The extinction burst is the surge of intensified behavior that happens when a narcissist realizes their usual tactics no longer work on you. For a long time, your reactions, whether tears, arguments, explanations, or attempts to fix things, served as emotional fuel. Even your frustration confirmed that they still mattered. When you stop reacting, when your tone flattens and your energy withdraws, it creates a psychological shock. They experience this not as a simple loss of attention, but as a threat to their control and identity. So instead of backing off, their behavior escalates. You might notice a sudden increase in texts, dramatic confrontations, accusations, or emotional performances. If they used anger before, the anger becomes sharper. If they use charm, the charm becomes overwhelming. If they relied on guilt, the guilt becomes theatrical. The goal is not resolution. The goal is to provoke a response strong enough to prove they still have access to your emotions. Even a defensive reaction can feel like a victory to them because it reestablishes connection. This escalation can feel confusing because it may look like passion, regret, or even desperation. In reality, it is behavioral panic. When reinforcement disappears, behavior spikes before it fades. They are testing every button they once pushed successfully. Old memories are revived, promises are exaggerated, threats may appear. They are cycling through tactics rapidly, searching for the one that still works. What makes this phase especially destabilizing is its unpredictability. The narcissist may swing from affection to hostility within hours. The intensity is designed to wear you down. If you give in during this spike, the cycle resets and teaches them that escalation restores power. If you remain steady, the burst eventually loses momentum. The extinction burst is not proof they care more. It is proof they feel control slipping and they are scrambling to reclaim it. When a narcissist senses that you've emotionally checked out, the smear campaign often begins quietly, then spreads strategically. It is not random gossip. It is a calculated attempt to control the narrative before you ever speak. The moment they realize they can no longer dominate you privately, they move the battlefield into public perception. If they can't control you, they will try to control how others see you. What makes this tactic so unsettling is how subtle it can start. A concerned tone. I'm just worried about them. A sigh before sharing something slightly distorted. Half-truths mixed with exaggerations. They rarely begin with outrageous lies. Instead, they plant seeds of doubt. Over time, those seeds grow through repetition and emotional performance. The story becomes less about facts and more about feelings they claim to have endured. You may suddenly sense a shift in mutual friends. Conversations feel cooler. Invitations change. People look at you as though they know something you don't. That confusion is part of the design. The narcissist wants you disoriented. They want you tempted to defend yourself emotionally and urgently, because once you begin reacting publicly, they can point and say, "See, this is what I've been dealing with." Smear campaigns also serve another purpose: image preservation. They must remain the misunderstood hero or wounded victim. If you left, it cannot be because of their behavior. It must be because you were unstable, selfish, ungrateful, or cruel. Their ego cannot tolerate abandonment without rewriting the script. The painful truth is that you may not be able to control what they say. Trying to fight every rumor can exhaust you and unintentionally amplify their narrative. The real power shift happens when you remain consistent, grounded, and steady in your own behavior. Over time, credibility exposes distortion. But in the short term, the smear campaign is designed to make you feel isolated and desperate. That desperation is exactly what they hope will pull you back into engagement. When the narcissist realizes you've stopped caring, playing the victim becomes one of their most strategic maneuvers. This is not vulnerability in the healthy sense. It is performance. It is crafted sorrow designed to reposition them as the wounded party and you as the aggressor. The same person who dismissed your pain, minimized your feelings, or mocked your boundaries can suddenly present themselves as devastated, confused, and betrayed. They begin telling mutual contacts how hard they tried, how much they loved, how blindsided they feel. They may conveniently omit the gaslighting, the manipulation, the disrespect. Instead, they frame your detachment as cruelty. I don't even know what I did. They just changed. I would have done anything. The goal is not truth. The goal is sympathy. This tactic works because most people respond to visible pain. When someone appears heartbroken, others instinctively comfort them. The narcissist understands this social reflex. By publicly grieving the loss of you, they recruit allies without directly attacking you. It creates quiet pressure. Friends may reach out, urging you to reconsider. Family might question your decision. You begin to feel like the villain in a story you didn't write. What makes this especially destabilizing is the reversal. You may find yourself doubting your own experience. If they seem so sincere, so wounded, you might question whether you were too harsh. That self-doubt is the hook. It pulls you back into explaining, defending, clarifying, and once you're explaining, you're re-engaged. Victim playing also protects their ego. If you left because of their behavior, that would require accountability. But if you left because you are cold or damaged, then their self-image remains intact. The narrative must preserve them as the one who loved more, tried harder, suffered deeper. The most powerful response is not counter-accusation. It is quiet consistency. When you refuse to participate in the role they've assigned you, the performance loses its audience. When the narcissist senses your detachment, one of the most confusing shifts can be the sudden return of intense affection. This is the last-minute love bomb, and it can feel disorienting because it often mirrors the very beginning of the relationship. The warmth, the compliments, the attentiveness you once craved suddenly reappear. They may send long messages about destiny, growth, realization. They might talk about therapy, insight, change. It feels like awakening. In reality, it is activation. This surge of affection is not rooted in self-reflection. It is rooted in loss of control. When indifference replaces pursuit, they experience it as a collapse of their influence. So they reach for the most powerful tool they've used before, idealization. They remind you of your special connection. They revive private jokes. They highlight memories when things felt magical. The past is polished and presented like proof that the relationship is salvageable. What makes this tactic so potent is that it targets your hope. You may have invested time, emotion, even years trying to make things work. When they suddenly promise to become the partner you always asked for, it touches the part of you that wanted resolution. The fantasy of change becomes tempting. You may wonder if this is the breakthrough you waited for, but watch the timing. This intensity often appears only after you withdraw. When you were asking for accountability, you were dismissed. When you were hurting, you were criticized. Now that you're calm and distant, they are attentive. That pattern reveals the truth. The affection is reactive, not transformative. If you respond by softening immediately, the cycle resets. The love bomb pulls you back into emotional investment, And once security is restored, the old dynamics quietly return. The sudden flood of devotion is less about loving you better and more about preventing you from leaving completely. When the narcissist realizes you're no longer emotionally available, they may suddenly manufacture a crisis. Out of nowhere, there's an emergency, a dramatic setback, a health scare, a financial disaster, a family conflict that only you can help them navigate. The timing is rarely accidental. It appears precisely when your distance becomes real. The crisis is designed to override your boundaries by triggering your empathy. You may receive messages filled with urgency. I don't know who else to call. You're the only one who understands me. I'm falling apart. The intensity pulls at your sense of responsibility. If you have ever been the fixer, the stabilizer, the calm one in chaos, this tactic targets that identity directly. It reframes disengagement as abandonment. Now, you're not just leaving a relationship, you're leaving someone in distress. What makes manufactured crises effective is that they blend truth with exaggeration. There may be a real stressor, but it becomes inflated and weaponized. The situation becomes catastrophic. The emotional tone becomes desperate. The goal is not solving the problem. The goal is reactivating your caretaking role. If you rush in to soothe, advise, rescue, you are reattached through obligation. This tactic also shifts focus away from accountability. Instead of discussing past harm or your need for space, the spotlight moves to their suffering. Your boundaries suddenly feel secondary to their emergency. And if you hesitate, guilt is layered in. You're accused of being heartless or selfish at the very moment you're trying to protect your peace. The key pattern to notice is repetition. If every time you detach there is a dramatic implosion, it is not coincidence, it is conditioning. They are testing whether chaos still secures your attention. When you respond calmly, briefly, or not at all, the crisis either resolves quickly or morphs into another tactic. The emergency was never the core issue. Regaining your emotional access was. Triangulation with a new supply is one of the most psychologically destabilizing tactics a narcissist uses when they sense you've stopped caring. Almost overnight, there is someone new in the picture. Photos appear. Subtle references are dropped. You may hear how easy this new person is, how understanding, how drama-free. The message is indirect but sharp. You are being replaced. This move is rarely about genuine connection. It is about provoking comparison. The narcissist wants you to measure yourself against the newcomer. They want you wondering what this person has that you don't. Even if you consciously know the pattern, the emotional sting can be real. Human attachment doesn't turn off instantly. Seeing them invest energy elsewhere can trigger insecurity, jealousy, or competition. That reaction is exactly what they're hoping for. Triangulation also serves as image management. By showcasing a new relationship quickly, they create the illusion that they were never the problem. Look how happy I am now becomes silent proof that the issue must have been you. It rewrites history without ever addressing it. If the new person appears glowing and attentive, it reinforces the narrative that they are capable of healthy love, just not with you. Sometimes the comparison is more explicit. They may casually mention how this new person doesn't overthink or actually appreciates them. The comments are crafted to land. They are not about sharing happiness. They are about destabilizing your confidence and tempting you to re-engage to reclaim your position. But here's the deeper truth. The speed and visibility are part of the performance. The new supply is less a partner and more a prop in a power play. If you react through anger, sadness, or competition, The triangulation succeeds. If you remain steady and uninterested, the dynamic loses its leverage. The display was never about love. It was about making sure you still feel pulled into the orbit. When all other tactics fail, baiting becomes sharper and more deliberate. This is where the narcissist tries to provoke you directly into reacting so they can feel powerful again. The content of what they say or do is often less important than the reaction it produces. A sarcastic comment, a sudden accusation, a dismissive laugh, a message sent late at night designed to stir emotion. The goal is simple: activate you. Baiting works because it targets unresolved emotion. They may reference a sensitive topic they know still affects you. They might question your character, your memory, your motives. Sometimes they deliberately misunderstand you. Other times they push a boundary you've clearly set. Each move is calculated to create friction. If you snap, defend, explain, or try to correct them, they've achieved what they wanted: engagement. What makes baiting particularly manipulative is that it often comes wrapped in plausible deniability. If you confront them, they may say you're overreacting. "I was just joking. Why are you so sensitive?" This secondary layer deepens the trap. Now you're not only reacting to the original jab, but also defending your reaction to it. The conversation shifts away from their behavior and toward your emotional response. On a psychological level, your reaction reassures them that they still have influence. Indifference threatens their sense of control. But if a single sentence from them can still ignite you, it confirms access. Even anger can feel validating to them because it proves emotional relevance. Resisting baiting requires emotional discipline. It means recognizing that not every statement deserves a response. It means tolerating the discomfort of letting a false accusation hang in the air without correction. The silence may feel unnatural at first, but it removes the reward. Without emotional payoff, the provocation loses purpose. And without purpose, it eventually loses intensity. At the core of every final maneuver is one driving motive: restoring dominance, not restoring love. When you stop caring, the narcissist does not experience it as a mutual drifting apart. They experience it as a collapse of hierarchy. The dynamic once placed them at the emotional center. Your reactions, your adjustments, your attempts to fix things revolved around them. When that orbit breaks, it threatens their sense of superiority and control. Love, in a healthy sense, requires mutuality, accountability, and vulnerability. Dominance requires none of those. Dominance requires leverage. So when they escalate with smears, victimhood, love bombing, crises, triangulation, or baiting, the unifying thread is power recalibration. They are not asking, "How do I repair this connection?" They are asking, "How do I regain influence?" This is why genuine conversations about harm rarely sustain. If you bring up specific behaviors, the focus shifts. They deflect, minimize, counterattack, or pivot into emotion. Accountability levels the field, and leveling the field feels intolerable. Control must be reestablished. Even reconciliation, if it happens, is often structured around you returning to a familiar role: soothing, chasing, proving. What makes this dynamic confusing is that dominance can disguise itself as passion. Intensity can look like devotion. Persistence can look like commitment. But if the underlying pattern still revolves around control, who apologizes first, who explains more, who bends, then the foundation hasn't changed. When you truly detach, you remove the reinforcement that sustains dominance. You stop negotiating for basic respect. You stop performing emotional labor to keep the peace. And that is destabilizing because it removes the invisible structure that benefited them. Understanding this motive shifts your perspective. Their final dirty tricks are not evidence of deep love suddenly awakened. They are attempts to rebalance a power structure that no longer serves them. Once you see that clearly, their behavior stops feeling mysterious and starts feeling predictable.